Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM. Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife and Resources Agency.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on AM 790. And, of course, all you good folks in Brownsville on 1520 AM and 95.3 FM in Jackson on News Talk 101.5. And always good to talk to this next year. He's still a young man to me, okay? I mean, when you've known somebody as long as I've known Keith Warner, and you know he started at the bottom and learned from the legend himself, Mr. Highsmith, and still in the gunsmithing business. And it's always good to talk to Keith. Good morning, Keith.
Good morning. How are y'all?
We're doing great. I want Ron to sit in and listen to this because Ron is in depression here because all the deer and duck hunters are back on the water now.
But actually,
you were happy that when they were hunting, Ron.
Yeah, very much. But you know what? I'm also interested in talking about taking care of firearms. I want to take care of my firearms also.
Well, that's Keith knows how to do this. So I asked Keith, I wanted to get him on today because a lot of us have completed some of the seasons. You know, I'm still rabbit hunting when I get a chance, but I know the deer season has ended. The waterfowl duck season, let's say that, has ended, and a lot of folks are saying, "Well, what do I do, Keith? Right now, once the season has ended, don't just throw it in the closet and think about it come waterfowl season next year." In your experience as a gunsmith, what are some tips you can give our listeners out there?
I usually tell people, I've usually got two different kinds of customers. Ones that want me to do it for them, or they want to do it themselves. Those kind of the two camps.
And you will do it, right? I mean, that's one.
Oh, absolutely. We do it constantly. I mean, I'm covered up with that kind of work.
Okay, yeah.
Usually what I tell you, if you're having a mechanical problem, then bring it to your gunsmith, bring it to me.
Okay.
Let's go through it, and while we're going through it and checking it out and figuring out the mechanics, we're going to clean it and oil it and get it all ready for next year.
Okay.
And that's stripping it down. That involves stripping it down to all the parts and pieces, more than just the average person will do. But the things that any hunter can do to really take care of his or her guns are, when you come out of the field, don't several kind of do's and don'ts. Don't put that gun up in a wet case.
That's right.
That sometimes you got to put them up, get them out. The best thing to do is at least dry them off, get them good and dry, and oil them up. Basic field stripping that some of your guns come with manuals. Basic field stripping may be the limit of most people's ability, and that's good. Always discretion is the better part of valor. Don't get too deep. Because you can really mess some stuff up at that point. Most of my guys, I tell them, bring your gun to me once or twice a year.
That's
right after you're through with it and well before you need it again, and then it's always good to go.
That's what because a lot of my friends, and I know one who went straight from the duck blind to the rabbit field, and he's already had some jamming up on his gun and everything like that. And technically
that mud will do it.
Well, you've got two different kinds of critters you're after here, too.
Yeah.
And a lot of times if you're hunting swamp rabbits or something, you're still in the mud and stuff like that.
That's true.
And I know from a fact that we're not just talking about waterfowl hunters here, Keith, but also deer hunters because, the season went for, it felt like 800 years, days, this year, from October 31st to January 31st in Tennessee. So there's a lot of stress.
That's a lot of exposure for a gun
that's
and
what
be
I meant.
outdoors. It's just pure exposure. It's not that you're mistreating it. It's just you've been out in the woods with it a lot, and it needs to be tended to.
What happens? What are the main things that could happen if not attended to? Let's just say that.
The biggest problem I see with duck hunters and somewhat deer hunters is, as we had so much rain and a little bit of snow and all that, the biggest problem I see is people putting up guns wet.
Wet. Yeah, okay. You've already mentioned that, and I knew that for a fact. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I
see that a lot. And if you're like me, you go hunting. I mean, I can go hunting and I can try like anything to stay clean and dry, and I look like I rolled in every mud hole I could find. So consequently, my gun looks the same way no matter what I do. So you've got to get there and get it as clean as you can, and mainly as dry as you can and clean as you can. and that'll keep you going until something happens where you need a professional, and that's where I step.
And that's where you step in. How long you been doing it now, Keith?
I think I am pushing 25 years now doing this.
That's hard to believe. That's hard to believe.
Yeah.
And again, we're talking to Keith Warner of Keith Warner Gunsmithing. It's located right there in the. I guess is it still the Carrefour shop?
Yes, sir. It's a Carrefour shopping center.
Right at Poplar.
We've got some developments around the corner, but still where we are and still operating.
At Poplar and Kirby, right in that area right there, not far from Poplar Pike. But and another thing, Keith, a lot of us, and I have to admit, my last deer hunting trip, which this was not a very good season for me. Of course, I only hunted 6 times because of health reasons and I thought blindness maybe. I don't know, but we won't get into that. But you're on a 4-wheeler. You're coming out, and it's muddy. It seemed like it was muddy. The first part of the year, it was dry. The last part, it was muddy, and you don't realize how muddy your gun case can get. And you think, my rifle's okay in there.
Yeah.
No, I mean, the humidity and all those different kind of things. So what will it, if you don't take care of it, what happens?
Well, the problem, you brought up a good point. So everything gets muddy. I mean, if you're like me, you look like you got drugged behind the 4-wheeler no matter what.
That's right, yeah.
And so that gun case, it protects your gun, your rifle, your shotgun, and that is true. But once all that mud dries, that turns to dust. And what I see is I had a bolt-action rifle come in just the other day after deer season, and every square inch of it, inside the stock and outside, was just coated in that dust. And then that dust and dirt gets settled in there, and he was having extraction problems. We had so much dirt and dust that he'd have a fired case in there, and that grit just locked itself between the case and the chamber, and he couldn't get the gun open.
Amazing.
So a good thorough cleaning. We had to strip it down to every part and piece, cleaned it, and lubricate it, put it all back together, and it worked like a champ. But you wouldn't believe. I mean, I just almost had to just literally wash it before we could even, take the next step.
Well, when you have these, this to me, of course, I've been shooting this 270 for Ruger for a long time. It's got the blued-in, thing on the end that Wayne Umberger put on there for me.
Yeah, tamer. Yep.
Got my tamer on the end and things like that, and it comes. I mean, I've had it a while. I'm not going to get rid of it just because, all things are expensive, but I don't want anything to happen to it. It's almost like part of the family. And I'm assuming some of the things that you see is that this day and time.
Oh, yeah. We do a tremendous – I'm doing several guns right now that are restorations that the market value of the gun would not warrant a restoration, but the sentimental value.
There you go.
You can't put a price on it. Yeah. I mean, that's, the work that I'm putting into it far exceeds the market value, but there is no market value because it's great-granddaddy's gun or grandpa's gun or daddy's gun.
Or it's going to be my grandson. It's going to be somebody down the road. Sure. You don't just and when Wayne put his name engraved on mine, it makes it, that's mine, and that tamer has been a saver for me. And if people don't know what that is, it just takes the kick out, okay?
Mm-hmm. And I have the type of muzzle brake.
Yeah, and I've never had any problem with it, but at the same time, I want to keep it clean and keep it up to date. And again, we're talking to Keith Warner from Keith Warner Gunsmithing about how to take care of this, because we're really not. We still got people shooting geese. We got the extended season on that. We got the rabbit season. We're getting ready to have turkey season, and I wanted to really touch base with you on that, because the evolution of the turkey shotgun is really changed. Maybe more than any other firearm when it comes to one of the animals. And so I wanted to ask you from a professional standpoint. We're killing turkeys now with 410s and things along that line. What is to Keith Warner the best shotgun for turkey hunting? I wanted to get you in that.
I tell you, one of my favorites is to pin me down and ask me what my favorite shotgun for that is a Beretta A400. I love the Beretta A400 Extremes.
Yes.
You can shoot everything from dove loads to turkey loads.
That's a good one. Yeah.
And it doesn't rattle your teeth loose. And and good ammunition. The ammunition like the TSS shot, man, that stuff is just
yes.
It's better than it should be. You're probably allowing you to kill turkeys a lot further than you should be killing them, but it's that's my favorite shotgun. I sell a tremendous number of them, and I just that's one of my favorites for everything, for ducks, dove, and turkey. Really, I mean, because it's the one gun I know of that'll do it all.
Well, I know I had a little some health issues last year, and I'm looking forward to turkey hunting this spring. When I'll be probably one of the oldest guys in the woods, but. I had a friend yesterday call and said, "When are you going to do your turkey show?" He can't wait. He wants to know the date of it, and because it's always a lot of fun. And I may throw you in that show, Keith, just to talk about. We're going to do it sometime in April.
I'd love to.
Yeah.
I just got a bunch of calls in from my good friend Steve Turpin. I got a
bunch
of calls
That's
in.
who we're talking about. Hey, is this? Oh, y'all setting me up on this? Is this a setup job with you and Turpin? Okay, I mean, no, we'll put Keith in that also, but. All right, tell them how to get in touch with you, Keith, and your hours and all that good stuff.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're Keith Warner Gunsmithing. We're at 6655 Poplar Avenue, Suite 101, Germantown, Tennessee. Phone number is 901-737-1320, and we're here Tuesday through Friday, 10 to 5.
10 to 5, and you got to get back in there and park. Now, you're on the lower level. Tell them that. I mean,
yeah. We're on the lower level. We're on the ground level. We're in the corner. It's an L-shaped shopping center.
Yes.
And we're in the corner of that right behind the fountain. My front door is right behind the fountain on the ground floor.
And, folks, if you got any questions, you're a newcomer and you're getting a new firearm, I suggest you see somebody like Keith before you make that purchase. Don't walk into one of them big box stores. I know they sell them, but go see somebody like Keith and make sure that you get a good deal. Keith, thank you, buddy. Always makes me feel.
Larry. Appreciate it.
Makes me feel young when I talk to you, Keith. Seemed like yesterday. Okay.
Good. You are young.
Keep saying that, Keith. All right, buddy. Thank you. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you. All right.
Thanks. You too.
All right,
Bye.
Keith Warner. All right. All right, let's take a break. Ron Wong is fired up because I'm turning it over to him on this next segment. He's going to introduce the man. The man has an easy name to pronounce, which I'm really glad, and everything. So let's take a break on Outdoors with Larry Ray. We're coming back with Ron Wong and Bob Brown. We'll be right back.